Hi, I'm Mike Tenney, and this is Awaken the Word. Do you ever hear the readings at Mass or when you're reading the Bible and Jesus is doing all these miracles and you think to yourself, I think I'd like a miracle. Why don't I get a miracle, God? And there was a lot of people in the Bible, in Jesus' time as well, who asked that same question. Where can I see a sign from you, Jesus? Where can I see a sign? Now, one way to answer this is that we have miracles from God all around us. If I cut my hand, because I have new kittens and they like to scratch me up, within a few days, my hand will knit itself back together on its own. That's amazing and that's miraculous. But we don't see it as miraculous because it's an ordinary thing. We've come to expect it because that's the way God has made our body to work. So in some ways, you can look at the whole world and things like childbirth, things like rain falling from the sky to water the crops, and then the crops grow, and then we can eat those crops and they nourish our bodies and they taste delicious. And all of those things are miraculous, but they're so ordinary because they happen all the time. We kind of take them for granted. So we can see more miracles just by appreciating and being grateful for the things we see around the world. But sometimes God does break out of the way he ordinarily does things and does things in an extraordinary way. And that is normally what we're talking about when we're talking about miracles. And if they weren't rare, if they weren't extraordinary, we wouldn't consider them miracles. Just like my skin knitting back together on its own from a cat scratch. If that only happened every few hundred years when somebody got hurt, we would see it as a miracle. So it's almost by definition, it has to be rare for us to experience it as a miracle. Now, they're also rare in the Bible. There are not signs all over the place in the Bible. There are several places I love to point to. The first is 1 Samuel chapter 3, when young Samuel is in the temple as a young man, and he gets this vision from God calling him to go be a prophet for Israel. It says, during the time young Samuel was a minister to the Lord under Eli, visions of the Lord were infrequent, and words from the Lord were scarce. And so even in the Bible, it says that these miracles are scarce. And really, there's only 3 places in the Bible where we get like miracle after miracle after miracle. 1 is Moses, 2 is Elijah, and 3 is Jesus and his apostles. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of miracles. King David doesn't really have miracles. Abraham, he has like a vision here, but there's not much. Really, it's Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. These miracles are places where Jesus breaks through in big ways. And again, they often call them signs. They're times when God needs to send a powerful message. But most of us only will see something like that maybe once, maybe a few times in our lives. Most of the way we see God is just in the everyday, looking around at the miraculous but ordinary way that he has created and looking on it with gratitude. So today, let's be grateful for the everyday miracles. I've been Mike Tenney, and this has been Awaken the Word.